Oh, I'm Chris474, and I'm back today with more Connected Hearts, a visual novel that I found on Steam for free. So I've been giving it a try, and I'm continuing on with it today. Let's go ahead and get right back into it. Load. Okay, let's see. We got 3 doors left. We can only go through either these two. So the question is, which one do we want? We start with the door on the far left. So I guess we should just go ahead, just go ahead and pick this door. Trip to the deeps. So head. Let's find door number 2. Ah. And sleepy groan escapes from my lips at the same time I open my eye. Then I put a hand in my forehead, feeling it wet. It is not sweat, but water that was leaking from the roof. That's what woke me up in a very uncomfortable way. I got up from bed and then sighed with annoyance. It takes me a couple of seconds to be conscious enough to realize where I am. I look around. There's a small room with barely the most basic to live. However, the most important thing is the material it is made of. Lots of grammatical and spelling errors in this game, but not too big of a deal. It's not wood or stone like usual, but metal. I placed a hand on the wall to make sure it wasn't a fake wall. Metal is terribly cold. Then I pulled back my hand and scratched my head with a pensive face. I can't think of many rooms made of metal, except for those inside a bunker. Anyway, thinking about it too much won't do me any good. I should look for a way to return home, or at least learn where I am. I open the door and enter a narrow hallway with dozens of pipes on the roof and walls. When my feet step outside of the room, I realize something. My first guess was room. There's other places which would have rooms made of metal. I'm inside a sea ship. I can feel how it slightly inclines to one side, then the other, barely perceptible. I put a hand in my head, unable to imagine how I got to this. What a night this was shaping to be, from being inside my room to exploring a huge ship in the middle of the ocean. But at least I can't say anymore that my nights are boring. Out of curiosity, I try to open the other doors in the hallway. Each one of them, without exception, are locked. I guess those are more cabins. Anyway, I doubt there's anything important in them. I should look for the communications room. Maybe I could send a message. I murmured to myself as I walked to the end of the hallway, with my sight down as I think about it. To be honest, I doubt from the bottom of my heart that it'll work, but I can't abandon the idea so soon. However, I can't get too far. When I try to open the door at the end of the hallway, I realize it's locked. What the hell? I curse while struggling with no results. Soon I give up. It's clear the door won't open. Then I rub my face out of frustration. It's so unfair. What can you expect me to do if all the doors are locked? The only thing left for me is waiting, something which causes me no joy at all. Usually I try to be patient, but in a situation as strange as this, it is too hard for me. I start to think I might be trapped here forever. What a miserable fate, after all. Who would come to a lost ship? Clearly there is something wrong here. It is impossible a ship so big would be this quiet. I haven't seen a single person all this time. I sigh with my breath full of frustration, but then I almost jump in surprise. Behind me I heard a sound. The door had suddenly opened. By reflex I turn around and look at the door, not knowing what to expect. The thing that will come out from there is a person, right? I don't know why I'm doubting it. But even if it is a human, but even if it is a human being, that doesn't make it any less scary. Maybe the real question I should ask is, what kind of person will come out from it? In silence, I let the seconds pass and my heart beats full of anguish. And that's the only thing that happened. In the end, all my worries were wrong because from there nothing comes out. My heart slowly relaxes, returning to a confident feeling. It looks like the door opened all by itself. Thinking back, that should have been my first guess after seeing everything that had happened this night. Slowly I get closer to the cabin, being alert in case something comes out suddenly. That never happens, of course. Once I'm close, I take a peek, seeing a cabin just like the one where I woke up. The most curious thing is that it seemed to have been used recently. The sheets are wrinkled. There's a glass of water half full on the table. The lights are on. There's also what looks like the lights are on, and there's also what looks like a dairy. A dairy on. Not a diary, but a dairy. I blink doubting for a second before going in. What calls my attention the most is the dairy. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. What calls my attention the most is the dairy. Everything else is only ordinary. It is open in a page near the end. Yes, that's a dairy. Not a diary, but a dairy. Again, a dim leak appeared today. This time in the engine room. There's the third one this week, and each time they get bigger. When I took this job, I thought it was something safe, but now I'm starting to doubt it. Did they build this thing with cardboard? When we arrive at port, first thing I'll do is... Wow, these grammatical errors. Did they build this thing with cardboard? When we arrive at port, first thing I'll do is suing the builders. Looks like I underestimate the level of this emergency. I thought it was only leaks, but now I hear that the main bridge and the antenna are failing. We can forget about sending an SOS. Looks like our only hope is arriving at the nearest port and getting of this can as soon as possible. How many days have passed since I last wrote? To be honest, I wasn't in the mood to write bad news, one after the other. But this time is special, simply because I don't think it can get any worse than this. The engine room is flooded, and that means we are stuck in the middle of the ocean. Without communications or engine, we are finished. Our only hope is that another ship sees us, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Meanwhile, the captain, Mr. Royerson, locked himself in his cabin. He doesn't answer our calls, and by now all the crew is convinced he is never going out. Is there something left to do that will be by our own hands, if there is even a thing to do? I have no idea how much time has passed. The sensation of time vanished when the days became the same, as if we were trapped in the same day forever. To make it worse, there are days I pass sleeping completely. Or at least I think it is only for a single day. It could have been weeks or even years. Anyway, I have lost all the interest in writing, so I guess this will be the last time I do it. For real. Once again, this is a special occasion. Remember when I said this couldn't get any worse? Well, I was wrong. Seems we aren't only lost in the middle of the sea, uncommunicated, in a ship that slowly fills with water, but also that something got inside the ship. My partners talk about weird creatures in the flooded decks. Monsters from the Deeps sounds like a name proper of a bad movie, and yet, after hearing their stories, I can't think of a more proper name. What will be of us? Only time will tell, but I'm not hopeful. The messages end there. All the next pages are blank. There's no signature or any indication of who wrote the diary. No indication of who wrote the diary. The diary. I sigh when I finish reading and then scratch my head confused. I have no idea how I should react to this. I'm afraid, that's for sure. But also a bit and anxiety and even pity after reading his story. Then I suddenly turn around feeling my whole body shake in fear. Out of nowhere, a metallic sound disturbed my thoughts. What is that? I said to myself, seeing a key laying on the ground. My eyes are fully open, and my heart beats so fast I can feel it up my throat. The object is nothing to fear. However, the question of how it got there makes me tremble to the soul. It wasn't an accident. I seems like while I was busy reading, someone snaked behind me and dropped it. Thinking that sends shivers to my spine. My throat is dry, my mouth tastes a bitter flavor. I stand there immobile for a couple of seconds. Now I remember I still have to find a way to go back. Even if it was frightening, the apparition of the key was of great use. Now I can escape this place and continue exploring. Without second thoughts, I pick up the key and walk to the door at the end of the hallway. As I imagined, the key fits perfectly. I hear the safe unlock and then open the door slowly. On the other side, there are stairs that go down to another hallway. It's flooded, and to make it worse, the lights are off, making it impossible to see how long it is. I doubt for a moment, thinking it was a horrible idea to cross it. The uncomfortable sensation of getting wet alone was enough to make me wow, that's a great one to read. The uncomfortable sensation of getting wet alone was enough to make me doubt. But after reading The Dairy, I think more seriously about it until I finally sigh, knowing there were no other option. If I don't move, I'll never get anywhere. At least that's for sure. I take a deep breath, gathering courage before going down the stairs slowly. When my feet touch the water, I exclaim surprised. Say it is, could be... What? Say it is, would be a mistake. This is the frozen hell. I can't explain how it hasn't turned to ice. I tremble, doubting if I should continue going. I have to use every fiber of my being to get the will to continue, until the water reaches little past my waist. I exclaim, dead cold, hugging myself to keep some heat. It takes me a few seconds to get used to. Thankfully, my first impression was exaggerated, or else I would die of hypothermia before getting to cross it. At least one thing I know for sure. If I manage to escape from here, I'll never shower with cold water again. I hear how I push the water when I start moving. Before me there is a long and dark hallway that extends beyond my sight. If it weren't because some of the lights are still working, it would be in perfect darkness. As I walk along the hallway, I realize there are more doors at my left and right. However, I don't bother trying to open them. They are ruined, warped as if something had brutally smashed them with a hammer. I stop for a second to think what could have happened. My best guess is that one of the crew members went insane. It is not something very cheering. I sigh and then shake my head to clear my mind. Giving no more thoughts to it, I continue moving across the hallway. Because of the water, I move so slowly it seems it will take me a full day to reach the end. That is, if I ever see the end. Occasionally I find leaks on the way. It seems the upper floor is flooded too. With so much water for a moment, I doubt the ship is still floating. I continue my way across the long hallway, truly grateful for the few lamps that are still working. Some of them flicker, leaving me in the dark for an instant. But even a little of light is comforting. I haven't said a single word since I got in the water, until this very moment. Ah? I exclaim, confused when I notice something different in the closest door. It is ruined like all the others, but what is new is that it was some marks, deep cuts. I move closer to examine them carefully. It is at that moment that I realize those cuts were made by claws. My face turns pale with surprise at the same time my heart skips a beat, frozen by a sudden cold. I instantly remember what I have read in The Dairy. Creatures from the depths. I murmured quietly, imagining many things, not one of them good. I swallowed saliva, feeling my hands shake. Not from the cold this time. I should hurry up and get out of here. I don't feel safe in the hallway anymore. Rawr. I just thought that when suddenly I hear something roar in the dark. The echo in the hallway makes it impossible to know where the noise came from. It is, however, easy to realize is like nothing I have heard before. I look back. At that very moment, all the lights except for the one right above me go dark. Truly, my luck is incredible. I swallow saliva, feeling my heart in my throat. Anxiety crushes my chest so badly it is hard to breathe. Then I hear how something hits the water. I turn around finding nothing. Unfortunately, I don't know where it comes from. As if I were crazy to look everywhere, knowing something stalks me, but not what or from where. Feeling helpless is a horrible thing. I hate it. I can't even breathe. Nervous, I take a step back and then feel there is something hard under my foot. I look down, but with so little light, it's impossible to see what it was. Ooh. The only thing I can do is submerge and find out. The object remains still, so I doubt it's a living creature. Clack, clack, clack. The creature makes another sound, a strange one that I can't describe, but makes my heart beat frightened. It seems to be looking for the ideal moment to attack. Then I hear something perturb the water at my back. Instantly I turn around. What I find freezes my blood. Oh, what's it going to be? I have to hold my desire to scream. Seems like a man with oil black skin. Or rather, the mixture of a man and a fish with scales and gills. Also, the longest, sharpest claws I have ever seen. My very soul is covered in ice. I'm completely paralyzed. Even my heart stops as my eyes behold that image. Clack, clack, clack. Again, the creature makes that sound. Excuse me. Only this time I can see how it does it. It's rubbing its claws. Slowly it gets closer to me. It doesn't seem to have eyes anywhere, so maybe it hasn't seen me. But it knows I'm close, that's for sure. Little by little, the distance between the two reduces, closer and closer. Last time I confronted something, it ate me. So... It's logical. It is logical. I can't face a monster like it. It has no eyes, so I should take advantage of that to escape. Yeah, but it's probably got some pretty good hearing. Unfortunately, I can only go back from where I came, but that's better than losing my life. Slowly I start to move, careful not to disturb the water too much or make noise. I don't know, that sounds like some noise. It seems to work, but the problem is I move too slowly. My heart racing and a monster lurking nearby, moving so slow, it's almost torture. Clack, clack, clack. The anxiety grows bigger when I hear him rub his claws. After that, he dives in and the air goes quiet. I stop moving at that moment. Then I start looking for the creature with my sight, finding no trace of it. Finally, I sigh in relief, feeling as if a heavy weight had been lifted from my shoulders. I opened my mouth and was about to say something, but before that I stopped. I better not make any noise. It could still be around. It could be still around. I take a deep breath before resuming my way, always careful. The lights are still off, so I can't see anything. It's incredible how anguishing that can be. Not seeing where you are, or what is around you. In just a couple of minutes, I was feeling already drained, not physically, but mentally. I wanted for that slow escape to end, desired that. But of course, I still have a long way to go. Clack, clack, clack. And then I hear the last thing I would have wanted. I instantly stop holding even my breath to avoid making the slightest noise. I wait in silence for unknown seconds, ignoring how close or far away the creature is. Clack, clack, clack. I hear it once again, making an echo across the hallway. Then I hear it dive into the water, unsure if it was behind me or in front of me. Anxiety crushes me, making me want to scream. That's the last thing I should do, but without a doubt, I wanted to scream from the bottom of my soul. I hate it. Can't stand being so helpless. Maybe it was lucky I didn't have to bear it for long. That caught me by surprise. I was just thinking about that when the monster jumps from the water and pounces me. It knocks me down and submerges me underwater. All of my body feels cold. I'm out of breath. Last I can remember is wanting to scream under the water, being dragged to the depths. Ah. Okay. So trying to escape wasn't the right answer. Okay, well, I guess, I swallow saliva at the same time. I swallow saliva at the same time, close my hands in fists, looking for my inner strength. Fighting against a monster sounds like the worst idea I could have, but escaping is no better. The way back is dark. I could easily be ambushed. And even if I do manage to go back, I'm afraid I'll never try again. Maybe there's something I could do to scare it away. Clack, clack, clack. I was just thinking about it when I hear that sound again. However, I can't tell where it is. I tremble with a chill at that instant. Then remember there was something at my feet, a small but hard object. By a reflex, I crouched down, submerging myself to pick it up. When my face dips out of the water, I open my eyes in surprise. I almost screamed, but managed to hold it. My heart jumps, seeing the monster at just a few meters away from me. It has no eyes, so I can't see it. It has no eyes, so it can't see me, but I can see it. Rawr. It grows, making an echo across the hallway as it moves its head everywhere looking for me. I don't even think. My hands move along, grabbing tight the object before throwing it with all my strength. In the air, my eyes look at it for a split second. It was a piece of metal from a broken pipe. Yeah. The monster squealed when the broken pipe hits it right in the head. Then it dives into the water and goes away, swimming swiftly, breaking one of the doors to escape. At first I was paralyzed from the shock, but then I take a deep breath, sigh, feeling relief. It doesn't seem like it's coming back anytime soon. If it was up to me, I would prefer never seeing it again. Then, for no reason, the lights in the hallway light up again. I blink, thinking if it could have any relation with the monster's escape. Anyway, there's nothing else to do than keep moving. So I do just that, until I finally see a set of stairs at the end. My eyes shine for a second, overflowing with joy. I was closer to the end than it looked like. That just the darkness made it hard to see. Wasting no time, I go up the stairs, thankful for finally going out of the cursed cold water. Is it raining? I murmured once I got to the upper level. I looked through one of the windows, seeing the raindrops hit the glass. Water leaks from the roof, creating puddles all around the place. Seems I have solved the mystery of the leaking. Looking around, I noticed that there's a sign that reads Bridge. If there was any clue on how to escape from here, or at least on what happened with the crew, it must be in that place. I don't doubt to follow the signal, finding others along the way. The ship is enormous, but it seems I'm closer to my destination. I hear my footsteps in the water as I walk, passing by countless abandoned cabins and broken doors. The ship is like a maze. For a moment I questioned why they would need so many cabins. I guess that before being abandoned, they had a use for them. I stop for an instant when I see the marks of claws in one door. I feel a shiver so cold that freezes my soul at that moment. However, the marks don't seem recent, and I can't hear the monster roaming around. So I guess there is no danger for now. I keep on walking for unknown seconds. Curiously, no matter how long I walk, I don't feel tired. At no time I think about taking a rest. Except when I stop to think it's been a long time without doing it. In any case, if I don't feel like it, I just don't have to waste time in there. This is the place, I said to myself once I'm standing right in front of the bridge's door. I take a deep breath, doubting for an instant before opening it. Or should I say, trying to open it. My hand moves, but the door remains immobile. What's wrong? My voice is full of frustration when I say those words. The door is locked and won't open anytime soon. I close my eyes and sigh, feeling all of my energy leave my body with my breath. It's just too unfair. I could try to knock it down, but it seems too sturdy. It would be a wasted effort. I feel at the edge of despair. Looking down to the ground, unable to rise my head. Then I realize there are a pair of papers at my feet. With curiosity, I blink before picking them up. Capitan Royerson locked himself in the bridge. What a cow. Thinks he has the only key, but I hid a copy in the boiler room. If can manage to acquire it, I'll be able to open the door and escape from this damned ship. The rest of the page is blank. Judging by the type of writing, it seems was writing by the same sailor who wrote The Dairy. Along with the message, there was the map of the ship, somewhat worn off, like if it was very old, but is easy to read. Actually, this is very luckily, maybe too much. Anyway, I can't complain when something actually goes well for me. Now I have directions, and thankfully the boiler room doesn't seem to be far. It's just that I'll have to go back to that cursed flooded hallway. I sigh, not feeling like going back there, but there is no other way. Then I start moving back, finding nothing worth telling along the way, until I walk down the stairs, dipping in the cold water. I make a disgusted face, holding my desire to squeak from the cold. I thought it would be easier the second time, but I was wrong. Wasting no more time, I start walking, moving the water as I advance with each step. The lights are still not working properly, just like before. But I guess that's better than not working at all. When I arrive at the door of the boiler room, I suddenly stop getting an unpleasant surprise. I rub my forehead full of frustration. In a terrible turn of events, I realize the door to the boiler room is exactly the same door the monster knocked down to escape. I guess I should be at least thankful to it for opening it. It saved me the effort of looking for a key. But I really can't give my thanks to that thing. My heart hardens with anxiety as I doubt about what I should do. My heart hardens with anxiety as I doubt about what should I do. The best would be for me to do this quickly and get out. I take a deep breath and with that in mind start moving, careful not to make any noise in case the monster is nearby. I doubt another broken pipe would save me if I see it again. The way to the boiler room is relatively short, much more than a long hallway, but not any better lighting. Oh. Before I knew it, I'm standing in a huge room of the ship with many furnaces and pipes that naturally stopped working with the flood. However, what calls my attention is not that, but another very important detail that I haven't thought before. This is the boiler room, but how many ships nowadays use this type of engine? Surely none. It's like if I had traveled back to the past. I scratch my head trying to understand the complex machinery, but after a few seconds I simply give up. It's clear that it is impossible for me anyway. Thankfully, I don't have to fix it. I just need to take the key and get out of here. Then I start to look all around. It sounds much easier that it gets done. There's one very important detail missing. Where exactly is the key? The room is huge, and looking for it could take me not hours, but even days. And with the monster lurking around, that's too much time. Once again, I feel how my spirit crumbles like a sandcastle washed away by a huge wave. Hopelessness. I have felt that before many times. Even then, I could never get used to it. I shake my head, just complaining won't take me anywhere. I have to start looking. Maybe I'll be lucky and it is in a visible place. I don't know. Honestly, I doubt it, but doing nothing will surely not help me. I force myself to start exploring the room as I think, where could someone had hid the key? It must be in a place where nobody looks, or else that would ruin the purpose of hiding it. It also must be in a place that won't harm the key, so that rules out the furnaces, thank God. Even if they don't work anymore, I feel terror to think I could get trapped on them, and the water would start to boil. After unknown minutes, I sighed, discouraged. I wasn't as hard as I imagined, just like at least 3 times that. The idea that it is impossible repeats itself inside my mind like a broken record. But I ignore it as much as I can and continue searching. Oh, not this thing again. Clack, clack, clack. And then suddenly my heart stops. My blood freezes at that sound, knowing very well what it meant. I hold my breath while looking everywhere, finding nothing in sight. Seems like the monster is not in the room, but it is surely nearby. The sounds of its claws make an echo across the whole room, building up an unbearable anxiety inside me. Clack, clack, clack. Again I hear it, this time stronger. I swallow saliva, feeling my heart beat in my throat. I have to do something. Do it now. Oh, we got it. Yep, let's save again. Okay, Options. Let's try the top option. Hide. I should hide. It seems the monster has no eyes and also can't smell anything. As long as I stay silent and don't move, he won't be able to perceive me. I feel a chill run to my spine while looking at a place to hide. Of course I already knew of one, but wanted to check for a second choice. There is none. Clack, clack, clack. The sound makes me accept a matter of time. My whole body trembles before reluctantly entering one of the furnaces. To say I'm uncomfortable of afraid would be underestimating it. The whole time my heart beats frightened, while my fingers feel cold and look pale. My throat is dry as I hold my breath. I only inhale when necessary, as I wait for the monster to get bored and leave. Rawr. The monster roars, making an echo across the whole room, sounding even stronger inside the furnace. Then I hear it disturb the water with its steps. Slowly seems to be getting closer and closer. At that moment, I doubted if he would really be able to turn up the flame and boil me. It makes no sense, but very little in this ship do. Monster being the worst of all. Clack, clack, clack. I hold my breath at the same time my will breaks in tiny pieces. It frightens me how close it sounded this time. It seems to be right before me. It must be the echo, but even knowing it, I can't control my fear. Roar! The monster roars with an human voice. Ooh. Hope I made the right choice. I hear the water getting disturbed. Seems like it's looking for me. It knows I'm nearby, but not where. This is a decisive moment. I have to stay silent and still. I close my eyes at the same time I feel my hands close and fish out of anxiety. Then I go completely silent. Nothing is heard from me, not a single sound, not even a single thought. I keep my mind blank as I patiently wait. I keep waiting, occasionally taking a short, silent breath. Until I finally realize I can't hear the monster anymore. It doesn't roar nor rub its claws, doesn't disturb the water with its steps either. Around me, the only thing that exists is a world of dead silence. Even then, I wait a couple more minutes, just in case it is still nearby. When I finally open my eyes, I'm sure the danger has passed. I sigh and then gasp, filling my lungs with air. Then I take a hand to my chest, feeling my heartbeat nervous, but quickly calm down. I did it. Now the only thing left is to continue looking for the key and beg for it not to return. That's what I was thinking, full of relief, but I made a mistake. Excuse me. Darn. I think I made the wrong choice. Just when I decide to resume searching, I hear the monster emerge from the water right behind me. It is so close it could hug me if it so desires. My soul breaks in tiny pieces at that moment. Seems it also hide, waiting for me to come out to attack me. I almost want to congratulate it for its intelligence, but I get not chance to do it. In less time than the blink of an eye, the monster knocks me down, submerging me under the water. I struggle, kick, try to hit it with no result. It has an immeasurable might that could easily bend a steel bar. The reason it doesn't break my neck is because it prefers to drown me. It prefers for the water the one that takes my life. Wow, that was the wrong choice. Go to a place outside the water. I don't know why, but it feels like a good idea. Usually people don't tend to look up, but in this case I'm dealing with an eyeless monster. Clack, clack, clack. The sound makes me accept I don't have time, so without second thoughts, I start climbing up one of the pipes in the furnace, going up as much as I can. It reminds me of when I climbed trees as a kid, except this time I'm doing it to save my life and not for fun. Once I get to the top, I hold with all my strength to the pipes while looking at the entrance, waiting for the monster to appear. My heart races, but my mind is confident. I'm scared, but it doesn't sound reasonable to think it could find me here. Roar! The monster roars with a human voice when it crosses the door. I hear the water being disturbed as it explores the room impatient. Seems it's looking for me. It knows I'm close, but doesn't know where. I see it searching every corner as it rubs its claws anxiously. Clack, clack, clack. That sound is burnt into my memory. However, seeing how impatient it is, tastes sweet in my mouth. For a minute, I even thought of making fun of it, but of course, don't do it. I wouldn't be prudent to make even the slightest sound. Roar! Then the monster smashes the water, splashing all around. And later it buries its claws many times in one of the furnaces, making a loud metallic squeak each time. It is truly unbearable. I cover one of my ears with one hand while using the other to hold to the pipes. But thankfully, it doesn't last for long. Soon later, I see how the monster gets frustrated and dives into the water, quickly swimming away. In just a couple of seconds, the danger disappears. However, I wait a little longer to make sure it won't come back. When my heart finally relaxes, I know it is time to go down and continue exploring. However, just when I was thinking that, I see something that stops me. Huh? I remember confused, noticing that it was something strange in the lamp closer to me. The lamp hangs from the roof, fulfilling its eternal purpose of lighting up the place. I just have to extend my hand and pull it to me. Then suddenly my heart jumps in surprise. I open my eyes wide, making a face full of disbelief that surely makes me look like a fool. But I can't help it. Unknowingly, I had just found what I was looking for. It's the key! I exclaimed, overflowing with joy. It was in a place I would have never thought searching. Can't read today. I would have never found it if not for the monster. But it's not just that. I blink with curiosity as I observe there's a piece of paper along with the key. Wasting no time, I pick it up and read what it says. The Unlucky Fisherman. Once upon a time there was a fisherman that since he was born he was followed the worst of luck. Meanwhile, everyone else has good days and bad days. For him, all days were equally unlucky. Every day when the sun was setting down, he looked with envy at the other more blessed who could come back home with a net full of fish, while him was lucky if he could catch two, and even more if he managed to sell one of them. Tired of this, he decided to visit the oracle of the town and search for a solution. The answer he found was little to his liking. The oracle told him that his birth star was corrupt, and therefore his soul was marked by the bad luck. Just like there are princes and heroes who are born surrounded by good fortune, there are others born surrounded by misfortune, and the fisherman was one of them. Desperate, the fisherman begged the oracle for a cure for his bad luck, to which the man responded that there was only one, and that was to go to a faraway place, beyond what his eyes could see. Without second thoughts, the fisherman grabbed all of this. Without second thoughts, the fisherman grabbed all of this belongings and filled many barrels with food and water, preparing himself for a long trip on his boat. He had no specific destination, only wanted to let the current lead him to a place he could live without that curse. For many days, he drifted away, forgetting about everything, even how long had happened since he set sails. Then suddenly he discovered one day that a small hole had opened in the boat. It was so small that he easily fixed it and forgot about it soon later. But the next day, 2 new holes appeared. The next 3, and the day after 4, later 5. The fisherman struggled to fix all the holes and prevent the boat from getting full of water. But no matter how much he worked, always without reason, more holes appeared the next day. The bad luck seems to have followed him, even while being in the middle of the ocean. Even then he kept fighting, meaninglessly fighting, until he ran out of materials to fill the now countless holes that plagued the boat. With nothing else to do, unavoidably the boat sank to the bottom of the ocean, far away from land. Did he not realize that all he had to do was nothing in the bottom of the ocean? He would never have bad luck again. That's the place no human eye could ever see. What is this? I murmured beyond confused. This kind of writing was different from the one I saw before, the sailors, so it must have been someone else who wrote it. I scratched my head confused, trying meaninglessly to imagine why anyone would hide something like this. In the end, I have no other choice than to give up and accept it. In the end, the only thing that matters is that the key is in my hand. This is the moment to go back and finally open the door to the bridge. The way back feels short this time. I don't know if it is because I'm excited to make some progress or because I just got used to moving around the ship. But it felt like that. But I realized I was already standing before the door, key at hand. My heart beats excited when I put the key in the keyhole, hearing later the sound of the door unlocking. Waiting no more, I open the door. I don't know what waits for me on the other side, but I'm eager to find out. Eh? I exclaim, confused. The excitement quickly dies, leaving only a feeling of disappointment. Incredulous, I see a dark and empty room. It seems to have been like that for years, and more importantly, there isn't a single thing that could be of use. The computers got ruined by the water that leaks from the ceiling. Besides how obvious it was, I tried to turn them on just to make sure they didn't work. Just like I suppose nothing happened. I looked down confused, feeling worthless and without any idea what to do. I rubbed my forehead, feeling about to fall apart. No matter how many times fortune smiles to me, No matter how many things I do, I always reach a dead end. There is no hope to be found in the ship. You can't escape. No matter how much I hate it, I can't stop repeating that in my mind. Sir? I almost jump from surprise when I hear someone speak behind me. Instantly, I turn around, finding a small boy. My mind goes blank as I stare at him, not knowing what to say. I doubt he is real. An illusion sounds much more reasonable at this moment. But if it was, it would be the most vivid illusion I ever had in my life. I see him breathe as he looks at me, following me with his eyes, scared at how sudden was my move. I'm sorry, I murmured after taking a deep breath to relax. Did I scare you? Yes, and plenty, I said, forcing a friendly smile. For a moment, I think about saying, I'm grateful it wasn't the monster, but quickly I changed my mind. I think it's something is better not to talk about. My name is Royer. What is yours? Said the boy, presenting himself casually. He didn't look very worried to be in front a complete stranger. My name is Gary, I said as I stare at him. There's something weird on that boy. His presence alone rises too many questions. Are you the Capitan of this ship? No, I'm not. I'm just a passenger. Royer shakes his head, denying it, and then looks back into my eyes. He looks at me as I was something amazing, when I am about the most ordinary person in the world. Why do you look so much at me? I asked myself friendly with simply curiosity. Royer trembles before talking, looking down embarrassed. I'm sorry, it's just you are the first person I see in a long time. I blinked confused after hearing him, feeling a little sorry for him. Have you been trapped in the ship for a long time? Roy doesn't answer, but I see him nod. How long? I can't remember. When the machine stopped working, the electronic calendar was lost. Royer closes his eyes and scratches his head while he tries to think about it. It seems it's impossible. No, I'm sorry, but I have no idea. I only know it has been a long time. That's fine. Don't worry about it. After saying that, I take a breath. How did you end How did you end yourself in this ship, Royer? Are you a part of the crew? Yes, I'm the captain's helper, he said, talking as if it was something normal. But of course, the kid being the helper of the Capitan of such a big ship is everything but normal. The only thing I can imagine is that he is his son. I understand. I look around confused. Where are the other crew members? Do you know what happened to them? Royer again shakes his head in denial. I don't know. You are the first person I see since the monster appeared. I opened my eyes surprised after hearing that. Then you have seen it? Royer nods. It's because of that monster that I always remain hidden. But when I saw you, I felt like talking to you. I don't like to be alone all the time. Yes, I understand. I'm still not sure how it can be a little I'm still not sure how can a little boy survive in this ship for so long, but I'm talking about the same ship that has an inhuman monster on board, so I guess I can be flexible with my common sense. At that moment, I remember there was something more important to ask, the very reason I came here in the first place. Royer, by any chance do you know how to escape from the ship? I crouched down so we could see each other's eyes. However, as soon as I make the question, he looks away ashamed. Clearly something is bothering him. I've tried many times, but it is impossible to escape from the ship. Fix it. The crew got tired of fixing the holes and instead allowed the ship to fill with water. As we speak, it is sinking slowly, and there's nothing we can do. Royer seems about to cry when he is done talking. To be honest, it is a very hopeless situation, but there must be something we can do. After all, if the crew escaped, it's because they found a way out, right? The only other choice is that maybe the monster ate them, but it's better not to think about it. I will give them the benefit of the doubt and say they escaped. Let's save this real quick. Take a little break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, I'm back. I think I saved. Yeah. Let me save again. Um. Hmm. It's too soon to give up, or is there really nothing we can do? I think I'll choose it's too soon to give up. It's too soon to give up. I remember trying to cheer him up. I'm sure there is an answer. I'm sure there is an answer, even if it is not obvious at first sight. Royer then shakes his head. No, there's nothing. I have thought in everything, and nothing will work. It is useless. The monster will stop us. Royer, you shouldn't think of giving up so easily, after all. We have no other choices. When I talk, I don't really think what I'm saying. Instantly, I see how he lowers his head, depressed. I hold my breath, feeling a bitter flavor in my mouth. I think it's better to change the subject. But why do you say the monster would stop us? Has he done it before? That was something that made me curious. It's not hard to imagine a monster like a problem, but it sounds like it was intensely trying to ruin others' efforts to escape. Royer thinks about it for a couple of seconds. Every time I try to do something, it appears. That's what happened when I tried going for the lifeboat. I understand, I said, pensive, trying to imagine it, and then an idea comes to my mind. Royer, when you say it is impossible, do you mean there is nothing left to do? Or there are options, but you believe the monster won't let us do anything? Somehow it is basically the same, but at the same time it is very different. There's also something else he didn't have before, my help. Eh? Exclaims Royer, confused, blinking as he looks at me. Then he looks down, thinking about it. Well, I guess I could always try to activate the rescue signal in the communications room. Royer said, shivering just when he finishes pronouncing the last room. Like, I just can't read today. Shivering just when he finishes pronouncing the last word. No, it's impossible. That place is the monster's lair. Hearing that makes me feel nausea. Instantly, I swallow saliva, feeling my throat drop. My heart skips a beat from the shock. Even being underwater would be a better place than in the monster's lair. It's not until I imagine it that I realize how he must feel. Yes, there might be a way out, but that means to cross with that monster, with sharp, long claws. I guess it would be the same as saying it is impossible. It is meaningless to send the rescue signal if we don't live to tell it. Royer, can't you think of something else? I ask, not being hopeful about it, to which he shakes his head, denying it. No, I'm sorry, Gary. Everything else is destroyed or underwater. After saying that, Royer shies, with breath full of resignation. He then sits on the floor, always looking down, feeling guilty for giving only bad news. I remain quiet as I think about it. The ship is slowly sinking, and there is nothing we can do. That's the fate we accepted. It is truly something pitiful, even pathetic. I make a face of disgust the more I think about it. It is normal to be afraid of a monster, even logical. But waiting for the ship to sink and drown, isn't that scary too? Just crossing my arms and saying, I can't. I really don't want that. If I only have two choices, one of sure death, other with little chance of success. Shouldn't it be clear what I have to do? Royer. I called his name. Seeing him renewed light in my eyes, he looks up at me confused. Do you know where the communications room is? I instantly see him tremble with a chill, incredulous at the sound of my words. He goes quiet for a few seconds, as if he was thinking he hear me wrong. Didn't you hear me? The monster will eat you. Not worth. Try it. He sounds even a bit big angry when he says that. Just in case. You're right, but there is no other way out. I let out a long sigh in that moment, before rubbing my forehead with frustration. What else can we do? We are at a dead end. You're right, but we had no other choice. I forced those words out of my mouth. Royer looks away, appearing to be heartbroken. Long seconds pass in silence. We both awaiting for the other to say something, but there was simply not more to say. We have no choice but to force ourselves, take our only chance. I know, he finally said, looking back at my eye. I'm afraid of the monster, but I don't like being alone, nor I like knowing that I'll drown if I keep waiting. That would be a bad way to go. I nodded before placing a hand on his shoulder to comfort him. Don't think like that. We have to think we can do it. But it is impossible. It's hard, but not impossible. I managed to escape from the monster twice. I was thinking of saying more, making clear I was afraid and got lucky. But before that, Royer jumps surprised. Really? That's incredible. You must be pretty strong then. He looks at me with his eyes shining with hope. So much I feel bad for what I'm going to say next. Not really. I was just lucky. But even then, I could confirm that the monster is not invincible. If we make a plan, I'm sure we can scare it away long enough to activate the signal and escape. When I say that, I try to sound as serious and convincing as possible. It's hard considering I myself don't believe my own words. Oh, exclaimed Royer before looking down disappointed. I can't say it didn't hurt me to see that. But I say nothing. There's little I could say to make it better and not be a lie. Then I shake my head, getting rid of the heavy anxiety in my shoulders. Anyway, we should go. The sooner we do it, the less time doubt will torture us. Royer looks up and blinks, looking in my eyes confused. Are you sure? Yes, was my simple answer. I want to say more, but no other word appears in my mind. There is nothing sweet to say. The only thing I have is my determination. Royer thinks for a second, but in the end simply nods. Doesn't talk, but it seems he still doubts, but doesn't want to say it. After that, we quietly leave the bridge. Do you know where the communications room is? Yes, follow me. It's not far. But we will have to go down to the flooded deck. I can't say I'm happy to hear that, but I follow him without complaint. As we walk in silence, I feel the ship slightly tilt to the side. Just when you focus all of your attention, you could feel it. Just like the sound of the storm outside. The storm has lasted for a long time. I said at the same time I scratched my head, just to break the ice. Being so quiet is so uncomfortable. It has lasted for days without end. We have been trapped on it for as long as I can remember. Royer doesn't even look at me when he says that. He continues walking as if it was a completely natural thing to talk about an eternal storm. Days without end. Are you sure it isn't just one storm after the other? No, I'm sure it is the same storm. All the problems of the ship started with it, a storm that up until now hasn't stopped hitting us. After saying that, Royer stops and turns to look me in the eyes. He explained and tilts his head. But we had no other choice than accepting it. He explained and tilts his head. Royer blinks as he waits for me to say something with curiosity. I understand, I said, forcing my mind to imagine it. After a brief pause, we continue walking, moving in silence across the long hallway. When did the monster appear? I suddenly asked. When I say those words, we suddenly stop moving. Royer thinks about it for a moment before talking. I don't remember. I only know one day it appeared. At first it was just rumors among the sailors, more worried about fixing the hole in the ship. But more and more people began to say they saw it each day, until evidence began to appear, like broken pipes and doors with marks of claws and bites. After saying that, he goes quiet, as if waiting for something to happen. Seconds passed with no change, not walking or saying a single word. And then, I finally asked, impatient. After that, I don't know what happened. I can only remember waking up completely alone. Everyone had disappeared except for the monster. When I tried going for the lifeboats, he appeared and got in my way. That's why I hid. Royer sounds. I don't know how to describe it. It isn't just sadness, there's also some regret in him. His heart feels heavy knowing he was abandoned, and it is not hard to understand it. He doesn't know how many days have passed, but judging from what he said, it sounds like at least a few months. Maybe it could be even a longer time. We are trapped in a ship with a monster surrounded by an eternal storm. What makes me think it couldn't have been even years? Anyway, I shake my head to clear my mind. I see. Well, for now we should focus on activating the rescue system. Royer nods, then resumes walking. The more we walk, the more I expect for the monster to appear, but it never does. I don't know why, but it makes me restless. It is the first room to the right after going down the stairs. He explains at the same time he turns around to look me in the eye. I blink confused, giving a quick look at the stairs. The level of the water seems higher here than in the other hallway. That, or maybe it has risen while we were talking. When I think about it, I let out a long sigh, inhaling later to fill my lungs with air and arm myself with courage. Alright, wait here while I activate the signal. Royer trembles as soon as he hears my words. Are you insane? Are you going to leave me alone? What if the monster appears? I made a confused face, embarrassed after hearing him. Actually, I haven't thought about that. Letting him come along letting him come with me is dangerous, but leaving him alone could also be. At least if we are good. At least if we are together, we have each other to help us. To be honest, I think it's more about the fear of being left alone than the danger. But either way, it is a strong reason. You're alright. Sorry. I said, embarrassed with a shy smile on my face. Then I returned my side to the stairs, beholding the undisturbed cold water. I take a deep breath. Are you ready? Yes. He answered with a bit of worry. Okay, then let's not waste any more time. After saying that, I start to slowly go down the stairs. After saying that, I start to slowly go down the stair. I just stop for an instant when my feet touch the water. I'm not happy to dip again in the cold liquid. Then I continue, shaking as if to feel the water go over my waist, until I finally touch the floor of the hallway. I stop to take a breath and then look back. It's even worse for Royer. The water reaches up to his neck. But at least it seems he can breathe without problem. Can you swim? I asked with curiosity. At the same time, I turned to look at him. Being like this, I doubt running is an option. Yes, all those crew members can swim. Don't worry about it. After saying that, I see him swim a couple of meters forward and then back to my side. As one would expect, he is actually better at it than me. Okay, then let's keep moving. I said without second thoughts, going then to the communications room. With each step I move, my heart seems to harden more and more, until it reaches the point it turns to stone from the anxiety. I gulp, feeling my saliva bitter. I don't know what to expect. I only know it will be bad. Very bad, but not exactly what. I hear the sounds of the water getting disturbed as I try not to think about it. Try not thinking. Here it is, said Royer, looking at a metal door completely destroyed. And to make it worse, full with marks of claws and fangs all over it. To be able to do something like that, the monster must be stronger than steel, which makes it many times stronger than me. What are you doing? Asked Royer, confused, when he looks at me grabbing a piece of pipe between a pile of broken metals. It is about 1 meter long and looks pretty solid. I thought it would be nice to have a weapon. The first time I found the monster, I managed to scare him away, throwing a piece of pipe to the head. We don't have to defeat it, just drive it away long enough to activate the signal, and then escape. I talk as firm as possible, as if I knew what I was talking about, but Royer looks back at me with doubt. I understand. That's all he says before looking away. I sight slightly disappointed, but anyway, I'm not a good fighter, even less a hero to defeat a monster. And I know that very well. I'll go first, I said after filling myself with courage. Royer simply nods. Then I slowly cross the broken door, careful to avoid getting cut with the scraps of metal. Then I blink, confused. Are you sure this is the monster's lair? It is not what I expected. I had in mind a place full of eggs, or at least some kind of slime that would make it look like the lair of an unknown monster. But it is absolutely clean. It actually doesn't look all that different from any other room. Yes, I am sure. It is always lurking around this place. Royer explained, a bit annoyed at my incredulity. At least I know he is not lying. I imagine it is hiding. My heart races anxious at that idea. Suddenly I hit the surface of the water many times to disturb it, wanting to see if I could make it come out. What are you doing? Roy asked, worried, looking at me confused. Then I stopped by looking into his eyes. I'm sorry. I wanted to make noise to force it to come out in case it was hiding. Royer snorts annoyed. Be careful, you could make it come here. If this is its lair, I think we can be sure it is around. It's better to at least know it won't catch us by surprise. I said, talking seriously, trying to justify my action. But I confess I wasn't feeling very smart when I did it. It was the fear controlling me more than anything. Royer blinks, then looks away. Maybe you're right, but it looks like it isn't home. I look around after hearing him say that, finding nothing but calm water. My hands relax the grip on the pipe. It seems so. I murmured, still doubting it. Then I fixed my sight in the red button that was behind the case of glass, like those used to cover the fire alarms. Is that the button to send the rescue signal? I asked while looking at it deeply. Yes, that is it. Royer speaks sure of his words. He doesn't look so scared now, but well, I guess the fact the monster isn't here helps a lot with that. Okay, I'll press it, then we get out of here. Royer nods, not saying a word. Then I quickly move towards the button. I have to take advantage of the monster being absent to end with it. I don't think in anything else but that, completing my mission as I hold the tube with all my strength. The room was dry and would take me no more than a few seconds. But the water slows down my moves, forcing me to take longer than I wished. But it doesn't stop me. Soon I'm extending my hand to reach the button. I'm about to touch it. The red of the button reflects in my eyes while my heart beats full of hope. I feel this is the first time since I got to this ship that I feel I can do it. This is the end. We are going to make it. But of course, it was all lies. Suddenly, all my hopes are destroyed, broken in pieces so tiny they disappear from this world. I can't even think when I see the monster emerge from under the water, jumping like if it was a flying fish. What happened? By pure instinct, I swing my hands. It seems like I'm trying to hit it with the pipe, but that's not true. I wasn't thinking, just moved my hands and I happened to have a weapon in them. It is then that I hear a cut, followed by the sound of something hitting the water. I lower my hands, seeing with a pale face and the eyes open wide as I tremble in fear, feel shocked but from the impression that the pipe I had taken as a weapon was now just half of it. In the time it takes to blink, just an instant, it had been cut. And the worst was that it wasn't my intention. If it wasn't because I had reacted out of fear, my head would be the one missing half of it. At least now I can confirm something. I was right when I thought it could be a trap. Sometimes I hate being right. I hear Royer yell frightened behind me. At the same time, he disturbs the water's surprise. I think he is saying something, but I can't understand it. I'm so afraid I forgot my own language. The only thing I hear are moans and fear that push my already excited heart to beat even faster. I gulp, breathing just barely enough to not faint. I can't move, not even a single muscle, with the exception of my impulse to close my eyes. Right now, the monster is behind my back. I wait for an attack at any moment, at any second to destroy me. However, he takes too long. I don't know if it was a couple seconds or more. But the time I remain immobile, waiting perfectly right for my end, feels too long. What is he waiting? Is he mocking me? Then I see the monster swim at incredible speed like a fish, getting between the button and me. Clack, clack, clack. It rubs its claws, sending chills to my spine with that sound. At that moment, I was convinced it was for sure toying with me. It could kill me, but instead just ruins my plans. It is not a natural instinct. Something like that has a name. That is pure malice. I feel my soul get so cold it freezes. Anxiety crushes me from the inside, making me tremble as I feel an overpowering nausea. Clack, clack, clack. That sound again, I hate it. Without knowing it, I started to attribute it with misery. Having no control of it, I begin feeling it was a mistake to come here. Regret invades me, filling me with a bitter sensation. Desperate, I hold tight to the only thing I have, not even remembering what it was. Just that it was solid and in my hand. Then suddenly there was a spark in my mind. Of course, the piece of pipe. I remember what happened the first time I threw it to it. The pain seemed to be enough to make it go away. I'm not very confident in my accuracy, but if I managed to hit it, I'm sure it would work. What is that? What is going on? My train of thought is axed before I can finish it. My mind was turned upside down when I see something change in the monster. Just what I was saying was my advantage. Rawr. The creature groans while it stares at me with a big red eye right in the center of its head. That is the first time I see it. No, it's not like it was simply hiding it. I haven't seen it before because it didn't exist. It managed to evolve in the short time after we met each other? That is nothing but insane. Ah, the water is getting higher, exclaimed suddenly Royer, seeing how the level of water was growing. At this pace, it would take just a couple of hours before the room got completely underwater. Enough time to escape, but that means that if we do it there, won't be a second chance. There is no we will come back tomorrow. I feel curious, however, I don't turn back to look at him. All my attention was fixed on the monster that stares back at me. Only I know it wasn't afraid, it was enjoying it. It has to be. Other way it wouldn't work. So hard to make me miserable. At that moment I realized something. There is another feeling growing inside me. So big that it quickly surpasses the very fear leaving it behind. It was hopeless. The only thing bigger than my fear was the sensation that everything I do is useless. That I can't do anything to escape from my fate of going down with the ship. No matter how much I fight, no matter how much I think about it, how many times I try or how much I want it, the monster would always be there to ruin my plan. I think calling it a monster is right in all the meanings of the word. I look down for an instant. Clack, clack, clack. The sounds of his calls make an echo in my heart, carrying it. I'm doubting. I don't want to go back, but what can I do? Throw it the pipe. That'd be the right answer. I think about it one last time, forcing me to reach a decision. In the end, between two horrible options, the one with at least a tiny chance of success is the one that looks more attractive. I hold the pipe so strongly my fingers start to hurt. Even if I'm nervous, my grip is firm. I put all I have in that idea, all of my attention, all of my remaining power, all just for the slightest chance of success. My eyes at no time stop looking at the monster. They behold it, noticing even the smallest detail. He looks back at me the same way. I don't know if it understands I'm planning something, but it is just by reflex, but his eye is fixed in me. At that moment, nothing else exists for me. I ignore completely the screams and terror of Royer and the rising water. Only one thing exists, and that is the enemy before me. Our duel of eyes seemed to last forever. I wait for the ideal moment to appear, unsure if I would be able to recognize it. I just wait and keep waiting until I notice something changes. I feel a spark in my brain when suddenly the monster blinks. At that instant, my mind screams for me to do it. This is my chance. Not thinking twice, I swing my hand with all my might, more than I ever knew I had, throwing the pipe to its head. Once in the air, my heart stops. Everything else disappears. In silence, I see it fly for what seems an eternity, moving slowly towards its target. It is incredible how an instant can decide your very life. There are two very different paths, one I hate and one I desire. The only thing that separates them is the time, less than a second, that lasts this instant. When it finally ends, I hear an unspeakable sound, followed by one I knew too well. Clack, clack, clack. The monster rubs its claws, making fun of me. I can imagine it laughing at that moment. It leaves me breathless. How easy it was to block the pipe with one hit. So was as the lightning. I look down, feeling how my soul breaks in pieces until it becomes dust. There's nothing left in me, not even the will to escape. My face is pale, as if blood had been sucked dry from my body, while my eyes look at the floor. I don't deserve to see my enemy. Don't even have the courage to do it even. The only thing left for me is a hollow body, drowning in despair, which is even colder than the water around me. I just want to submerge in the water and disappear. I want to forget about everything so that I don't have to feel the weight of my failure. It is then that I hear the water getting disturbed. Before I knew it, my wish was granted. The monster pulls me underwater without being anything I can do to stop it. I don't even struggle. I don't care anymore. I'd given up. In the end, the only thing I felt was thankful. Even drowning is not as horrible as the unbearable hopelessness in my heart. Check. Okay, so don't throw the pipe at it. So don't fight with it. I think about it one last time, forcing myself to make a choice. In front of me, there were two horrible options: escaping and dying, when the ship sinks are trying to fight it and knowing it was useless. That's right. Last one has the slightest chance of success. Between the two, that made it the best. But I'm not the type of person who expects much from luck. For that very reason, I don't like the games of chance or bets. More than luck, it was my effort what pushed me forward. Studying for my exams, doing my homework, practicing. That's why I don't feel good making that choice. Just throwing it and praying for the best definitely doesn't sound good. I blinked for the first time in what felt an eternity. For the first time, my mind parts from the monster. I'm still looking at it, but my attention is elsewhere. Is there no third choice? Who said there were only two? Why do they have to be it? Maybe there's something else I'm ignoring. If I escape, I only delay the inevitable. If I fight, I'll fail. If I fight it, I'll fail miserably. The ship is sinking, and the monster is much stronger than I. Then what can I do? I think about it with every fiber of my being until suddenly the most simply thing gives me the answer. I hear the sound of a drop falling to the water. I instantly turn my head in that direction. Seeing later another drop fall, I blink with curiosity. What are you doing? What are you doing, Gary? We have to go. The monster will eat us. Royer yells desperate, something very appropriate for the moment. However, I don't move. Instead, I keep looking to what was above me. Astonished, I stare at the lamp above my head, as if I had never seen one in my life. And with that image, one idea is born in my mind. I feel a spark in my brain that lights up in an uncontrollable fire. Suddenly, I hold the pipe with all my strength, all of it, and without a doubt, I throw it to the lamp closer to the monster. The lamps are long, so it is impossible to fail even with my bad aiming. I see the pipe fly in the air, feeling my heart beat up full of excitement. Not fear, but enthusiasm. At last something came to my mind, the third chance I ignored before. The monster has an eye. If I attack it, it will simply defend itself, unlike the first time. Now I know better. But he just got it. That means it's not used to the weakness of having it. In the blink of an eye, the pipe hits the lamp, breaking it in a flash of light, and sparks that cover all the room for an instant. An intense white light. Grrr! Groans the monster in pain. Its eye had never seen such a bright light. He desperately tries to cover its face, but that doesn't save it from the punch I land on it. Eyes are very vulnerable. Having one so big in the center of your head is dangerous. I don't even know how to say that. It wheels in pain, jumping to the water and swimming away at full speed. I don't even see it escape. My attention was fixed in something else. Then, without even thinking, I do the only thing missing. I press the rescue button with all I have, feeling the adrenaline rush through all of my body. At that moment, I hear the alarm activate. At the same time, red lights appear. Mission accomplished. Royer? I called his name when I turned to look at him. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of her before the monster returns. Royer doesn't answer. He is astonished. unable to believe what he just saw. Before his eyes, something impossible just happened. We won. Royer? I said again at the same time I hold his hand. I would carry him back if needed, but thankfully he snaps out of it. Ah, yes, let's go. Without saying more, we go back the same way we came, except this time it feels incredibly short, unlike before. We go up the stairs and stop to take a breath. I fill my lungs with air, then exhale from my mouth. I still can't believe it. My brain burns from the excitement and my heart beats proud of my. The ship is still sinking, but it will take time. Before that, help will arrive. We are saved. Now we only have to wait in a secure place. Although I feel the monster won't bother us again. Looking back, it seems impossible. Was that really me? It seems more it was someone else who happened to look like. You are incredible. You are incredible, he said suddenly while looking into my eyes. I can't do more than tremble from the impression. The eyes he has now almost shine full of joy. You really are. You are a hero. You defeated the monster. You are overreaction. I just scared it away. I said embarrassed, but it would be a lie to say I wasn't proud. No, you really are. He then added, so excited that my heart jumps. Ah, well, thanks, was my dumb answer as I scratched my head embarrassed. Anyway, we should return to the bridge and wait for rescue to come. Yes, let's go. And at most a couple days the rescue ship should come. Seems he has a better idea on how the signal works. A couple days isn't really that much time. After all, the ship has been sinking for what seems months. So a few more days would be nothing. Then I'd see Royer cheerfully smile. He looks so happy. That image warms my heart. This is the last thing I see before my vision becomes blurry. A little more each second so I can't see anything. Achievement unlocked. Story of Royer. There's a girl sitting. Dream 2. There's a girl sitting in the garden. Girl who hates her name. She hugs her knees while looking to the front, to the nothingness. Lost in her thoughts as if that was the most fascinating thing that could exist. Since when did she start to feel like that? To appreciate the loneliness that surrounded her. She herself doesn't know, but seems like it had been like that forever. There are other kids nearby playing, laughing. But she never felt any desire to join them. They look so distant. Or better said, knows they are very different. Just playing isn't enough for her. The joy would quickly fade away once the game finished, being replaced by an even worse feeling of loneliness. You just can't understand them. They got over so easily, make friends so easily, feel so easily. How can that be? For her it is hard. Every feeling of happiness is a chance to feel sadness once it ends. Every friendship is the promise of loneliness once they move away. That's why she prefers none of them. She yearns to find a happiness that is born from herself, from her own thoughts and heart, without the need of anyone else. There's something wonderful in that, in knowing that no one would ever let you down, that you would never be alone because all that you need is in yourself. Thinking is beautiful, observing and learning new things also are. Without a doubt, there is something fascinating in the world that we never pay attention to because we consider it mundane. For her, each day is a box full of mysteries, or at least tries to see it like that. As long as there are questions to answer and things to get passionate about, she would never be alone. However, all this would end falling apart. Ah, I exclaimed, confused at the same time I opened my eyes. Then I rub my forehead and look around. I'm back to the orphanage? Or more precisely, looks like I'm in the dining room. There are many plates on the table waiting to be used. There's also silverware, napkins, and glasses, as if in just a few minutes the children were going to eat. I look at them in silence for a few seconds before deciding to continue exploring. The dining room is connected to the kitchen. Here there is an oven, a fridge, and a sink. They still seem to work and ever even clean, as if just yesterday had been in use. Like pure curiosity, I try to turn on the oven. I'm not hungry, and there is nothing to cook. I just did it to verify if it was working. It ran out of gas. I said quietly, talking to myself, seeing that nothing happened. Then I opened the fridge, not knowing what I would find. With indifference, my eyes see it is empty. Not a single thing inside, not even dust of leftovers. Curiously, when I open it, I feel cold air caress my skin, but the fridge isn't turned on. I continue exploring. I open the cupboard used to keep the plates. There I discover a sheet of paper. I then close my eyes and sigh, frustrated. There's nothing helpful there. All this is a complete waste of time. I have nothing special, at least nothing that justifies a magical experience like this. I open my eyes and look at the paper. To be honest, there's a simple yet important detail I'm ignoring. I forgot to check if there was something in the other side. Wasting no time, I turn it, just like I imagined there was a message there, written with purple pen. The writing is different from the one that's at the front page, so I can be sure someone else wrote it. Alice, without a doubt. You have come far, Gary. I know you could make it. Well, it's not like you have a lot of room to fail either. If you need to die, if you need to die, or rather I should say, find a bad end, to become a person capable of fulfilling his promise, then don't worry, you have my permission to die. It sounds so silly, I apologize. I'm laughing while writing this. You are a smart person. So I'm sure you should know by now that there's more to me than just my role as the villain of this story. Everything that happens tonight has a purpose. Keep that in mind. Now, if you think that this is fair or unfair, we won't know until you reach the end. Now, just to show that I'm not so evil, I'll give you a clue. Do you know what lucid dreams are? They're dreams where you are conscious while dreaming. That means you have full control of your thoughts and actions while sleeping. And know that everything around you is not real and will disappear once you wake up. Now another question, Gary. What is real and what isn't? Most people don't take a single second of their time to question something like that. Reality seems so clear and distant from dreams like night and day. However, I know you aren't like that, of course not. You're the kind of person who could talk about the subject for hours. Reality is, at least in my own words, everything we can feel, what we perceive, touch, see, smell, hear, imagine. Everything that surrounds us is our reality. But then, if you were trapped inside a dream so vivid, you couldn't tell apart from being awake, would that make it real? There is an old Sumerian myth that tells about a god who created the world while sleeping. We are nothing but shadows inside the god's dream. For us it is real. We never doubt of it, but for him, it is only a transient dream. Maybe all of this is real for you, but to me, it's only a dream. I am the sleeping god who created the world without realizing. It is not insane to think about it like that, because dreams are not tied to logic. You can dream you are a superhero, or that you die and revive as many times, and so casually it becomes funny. Or even that you are many people at the same. After all, haven't you been seeing all sort of unexplainable things? Maybe you are just a character in the script I am writing. Or maybe nor. And this is all lies with the purpose of wasting your time. Anyway, I said a lot, but what is the clue? What you are seeing tonight is as real as you want it to be. Alice. Yes, I'm waiting for you in the fairy's castle. I feel a chill run down my spine. I don't even know what to think. My mind is completely blank. I didn't expect such a long and complicated message. I blink, confused, and then suddenly an avalanche of ideas hits my mind. They are so many, my head hurts while I hear each one of them, as if there was an endless line of people waiting to tell me something. This is no surprise. I'm trying to make sense to what Alice said. Am I trapped inside her dream, or maybe all this is just a nightmare, and in the real world I'm just sleeping in my bed? Tomorrow, when the sun comes out, I'll be forgotten like the rest of my dreams in my life. It is impossible for me to know. In the end, I sigh and rub my forehead, taking a couple of seconds to empty my mind. The only thing I can do is keep on moving. With that in mind, I look back at the paper. I see it one last time before putting it back where I found it. Then I turn back to the door. There is no reason for me to stay in the kitchen. I still have a third world to explore. Ah, I exclaimed, confused, noticing one thing. The door of the dining room was closed from the inside. Seems they didn't want the kids to enter the kitchen without permission. Something illogical. They could steal the food, or even worse, get hurt with the things there. Anyway, wasting no more time, I leave the dining room and walk back to the main room. It just takes me a few seconds to be there again. Just like the time before, the door I had just opened is now blocked by boards. Also, other of the lock pads of the fourth door had broken. Just one more to be able to cross it. But what is there on the other side? I blink while looking at it deeply, trying to imagine it. If it is a door to another world like the other one, then why is it locked? It's not because they don't want me to cross it. Otherwise, the lock pads wouldn't break like that. It's more like they don't want me to open it before crossing the other doors. I remain immobile and in complete silence until suddenly I shake to the very core. I had come up with an answer. It is the way back. Stood my lips with full security about it. What else could it be? That explains why I'm not allowed to cross it until the end. For a second I feel so excited I could jump, but then close my eyes and take a deep breath trying to relax. Even now it is too soon to get excited. I still have one last place to visit. Then I fix my sight in the last open door. My heart beats nervous now, knowing what I would find in the other side. But being so close, I can't doubt. Well, I think that is a good place, a good stopping point for the day. Figured I'd get through at least one door a day. I got through the first one yesterday, and the second one today, so I get through the third one on Wednesday. I'll get through the third one on Wednesday, and maybe both of the doors on Wednesday. I'll just have to see. But this is actually a good stopping point for the day. I have been enjoying this game so far. So I will continue it with on Wednesday. It was free. It's free on Steam. So I figured it was worth giving it a try. So let's see who is on. Who do we got on? We got quite a few people on. Mm-hmm. Let's go raid Inde. He's playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out, trying to beat it for the first time. Cool guy. He recently beat Battletoads for the first time on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. Now he's moved on to Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Let's. So I will be back on again on Wednesday with more of this. And thank you everybody who tuned in today, and thank you Big Destroyer for the follow earlier. So everyone have a good day, and I'll see you again Wednesday. Or see you when I see you. If I see you before that. Not on my stream, but, you know, in other streams.
Sorry, I just need to not get distracted here. I wasn't going to get the